0181. She was ready, but must sit down and wait until there was an army to work with. Next morning, Saturday, April 30th, 1429, she set about inquiring after the messenger who carried her proclamation to the English from Blois, the one which she had dictated at Poitiers. Here is a copy of it. It is a remarkable document, for several reasons, for its matter-of-fact directness, for its high spirit and forcible diction, and for its naive confidence in her ability to achieve the prodigious task which she had laid upon herself, or which had been laid upon her, which you please. All through it you seem to see the pomps of war and hear the rumbling of the drums. In it Joan's warrior soul is revealed, and for the moment the soft little shepherdess has disappeared from your view. This untaught country damsel, and used to dictating anything at all to anybody, much less documents of state to kings and generals, poured out this procession of vigorous sentences as fluently as if this sort of work had been her trade from childhood. Jesus Maria King of England and you Duke of Bedford who call yourself Regent of France, William de la Pole, Earl of Suffolk, and you Thomas Lord Scales, who style yourselves lieutenants of the said Bedford, do right to the King of Heaven. Render to the maid who was sent by God the keys of all the good towns you have taken and violated in France. She is sent hither by God, to restore the blood royal. She is very ready to make peace if you will do her right by giving up France and paying for what you have held. And you archers, companions of war, noble and otherwise, who are before the good city of Orleans, be gone into your own land in God's name, or expect news from the maid who will shortly go to see you to your very great hurt. King of England, if you do not so, I am chief of war, and whenever I shall find your people in France, I will drive them out, willing or not willing, and if they do not obey I will slay them all, but if they obey, I will have them to mercy. I am come hither by God, the King of Heaven, body for body, to put you out of France, in spite of those who would work treason and mischief against the kingdom. Think not you shall ever hold the kingdom from the King of Heaven, the Son of the Blessed Mary. King Charles shall hold it, for God wills it so, and has revealed it to him by the maid. If you believe not the news sent by God through the maid, wherever we shall meet you we will strike boldly and make such a noise as has not been in France these 1,000 years. Be sure that God can send more strength to the maid than you can bring to any assault against her and her good men-at-arms, and then we shall see who has the better right, the King of Heaven, or you. Duke of Bedford, the maid prays you not to bring about your own destruction. If you do her right, you may yet go in her company where the French shall do the finest deed that has been done in Christendom, and if you do not, you shall be reminded shortly of your great wrongs. In that closing sentence she invites them to go on crusade with her to rescue the Holy Sepulchre. No answer had been returned to this proclamation, and the messenger himself had not come back. So now she sent her 2 heralds with a new letter warning the English to raise the siege and requiring them to restore that missing messenger. The heralds came back without him. All they brought was notice from the English to Joan that they would presently catch her and burn her if she did not clear out now while she had a chance, and go back to her proper trade of minding cows. She held her peace, only saying it was a pity that the English would persist in inviting present disaster and eventual destruction when she was doing all she could to get them out of the country with their lives still in their bodies. Presently she thought of an arrangement that might be acceptable, and said to the heralds, "Go back and say to Lord Talbot this, from me, come out of your bastilles with your host, and I will come with mine. If I beat you, go in peace out of France, if you beat me, burn me, according to your desire." I did not hear this, but Dunois did, and spoke of it. The challenge was refused. Sunday morning her voices or some instinct gave her a warning, and she sent Dunois to Blois to take command of the army and hurry it to Orleans. It was a wise move, for he found Regnault de Chartres and some more of the king's pet rascals there trying their best to disperse the army, and crippling all the efforts of Joan's generals to head it for Orleans. They were a fine lot, those miscreants. They turned their attention to Dunois now, but he had balked Joan once, with unpleasant results to himself, and was not minded to meddle in that way again. He soon had the army moving.